Welcome to today's session from Bhagavad-Gita as it is. We are on chapter 2, contents of the Gita summarized, and we will be covering the verses 31 to 41. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yad kripatam aham vande Shri Gurum Deenatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hari Om Tat Sat. Vanchakalpatarupescha kripasindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. So verse 31 of the contents of the Gita summarized chapter 2. Swadharmamapi chavekshya na vikampitum arhasi dharmyadhi yuddha cheryonyat kshatriyasya na vidyate. Considering your specific duty as a kshatriya, you should know that there is no better engagement for you than fighting on religious principles, and so there is no need for hesitation. Yachriya chopannam swargadvaram pavritam sukhina kshatriya partha labhante yuddham midrisham. O Partha, happy are the kshatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of the heavenly planets. Verse 33. Atha chetvam imam dharmyam sangramam na karishyasi tatah swadharmam kiritim cha hitva papam avapsyasi. If, however, you do not perform your religious duty of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter. Verse 34. Akirtim chapi bhutani kathaishyanti te avyayam sambhavitasya chakirtir marnad atirichyate. People will always speak of your infamy, and for a respectable person dishonor is worse than death. Verse 35. Bhayad ranad uparatam mamasyante tvam maharathaha yesham cha tvam bahumato bhutva yasyasi laghavam. The great generals who have highly esteemed your name and fame will think that you have left the battlefield out of fear only, and thus they will consider you insignificant. Verse 36. Avachya vadamscha bahun vadishanti tavahitaha nindantastav samarthyam tato dukhataram nu kima. Your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you? Verse 39. Hato va prapsyasi swargam jitva va bhokshyase mahim tasmad utishtha kaunteya yuddhaya krita nishchayaha. O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight. Verse 38. Sukha dukhe samakritva labha labhau jaya jayau tato yuddhaya yujyasva naivam papam avapsyasi. Sorry, I think I'm on verse 38. I thought I had overread translation. Do thou fight for the sake of fighting without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat, and by so doing you shall never incur sin. Verse 39. Esha te vihita sankhye buddhir yoge tvimam shrinu buddhaya yukto yaya partha karmbandham prahasyasi. Thus I have described this knowledge to you through analytical study. Now listen as I explain it in terms of working without fruitive results. O son of Pritha, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of works. Verse 40. Neha bhikrama nashosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpam pyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Translation. In this endeavor there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the dangerous type of fear. Verse 41. Vyavasayatmika buddhi rekeha kurunandanaha bahushakha hayanantascha buddhayo vyavasayinam. Translation. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many-branched. So we are on verse 31, and Arjun has been instructed about his identity up to verse 30, that he should understand that he is not this body. His real identity is his soul. And actually all these realizations given to Arjun are for us in the Kali Yuga. Because Krishna knew that Kali Yuga was going to descend on the earth, and people of Kali Yuga, they will have little intelligence, a small lifespan, and not so many opulences, and not that much of resolute in themselves that they could accomplish big things which for spirituality, which the other yugas enable the people of those yugas to accomplish. So Arjun is actually being reminded of his Swadharma. So Krishna is telling Arjun that there are two types of duty for a person. First, the duty is of the world, which we have to do for the day-to-day survival, because we cannot live without karma even for 1 second. And then there is Swadharma. Swadharma is our duty towards our soul. So one duty is our for body, for which we go and work outside in the material world, from home or we work outside for somebody. We either have our own little enterprise or business. And the Swadharma is for the soul, and we cannot neglect it. Everybody will do something to fulfill their stomachs and to look after their houses. But people forget the other very important dharma, which is the dharma towards the soul. And that should not be neglected on any account. We should not be putting it off for our old age, thinking that yes, we will think about it when we are old. But as we get older and older, our habits and our discipline, our routine gets more and more fixed. So we have to think as soon as we can about this, who we are, why we are here for, and what is our purpose to our Atma, and what is a self-realized person. Like we said, self-realization begins when we know that we are not this body, we are all soul, which is eternal, and it is as old as the Lord himself, because we are part of him. So Krishna addresses the knowledge which is affecting our everyday life in the so-called mundane and the real world. The two types of duties, like I said, one is two types of dharma. One is Swadharma and one is the Sanatan Dharma. Swadharma is we cannot avoid, like I said. We have our duties towards our families, to our friends, to our society. And then there is the Sanatan Dharma of the soul. What is Sanatan Dharma? That is the relationship with the God. Sanatan is eternal, one which never finishes, which has no start, no finish. It's always will be there, and it always was there. The yugas may change, the cycles of this seasons when in our lifetimes may change, but the relationship, it stays the same. For millions of our births, we've had this relationship with Lord, and for God knows forever in the future this relationship will remain intact. So Arjun is reminded his duty as a Kshatriya. So as a Kshatriya, he has to go and fight. It's like they say, a tiger cannot make any friendship with the grass because he can't survive on grass. He has to go and do the hunting, and that is his dharma towards his body, because his soul will also be able to live on this earth until and unless he is eating, the tiger is eating, is doing the hunting. So Arjun is also reminded that that is his duty. He cannot neglect that. And he's reminded that by fighting in the battlefield, he will go to the heavenly planets. And the ones who will get killed by him, they will also get a superior birth. He should not worry that he will get the sins for killing those people, because this is his swadharma. And he's reminded that if he doesn't do the duty as a Kshatriya, then he will get the sins, and he will also get bad reputation. And it is said, reminded to Arjun by Krishna, that for a person of an honor, bad name given by others in the society is worse than getting killed or dying. Also, he's reminded that if he leaves the battlefield thinking that, oh, I cannot fight because of the weakness of my heart, because these are my family members and my extended family, then the people who have actually given him big name as a big warrior, as a big dhanurdhari, like they say in Hindi, he was the best archer. Arjun was the best archer during his time. So if he leaves the battlefield, all that prestige, all that reputation he has gained will be completely gone, just like that. And then his enemies, if he leaves the battlefield, if he refuses to fight, they will not give him anything nice to say. They will be blaspheming him. They will be giving him bad words, and they will be making fun of his ability, and that is going to be very painful to him to hear and to go through that if he decides to not to fight and leave the battlefield by giving so many reasons as he is giving to Krishna. So he is reminded again that if he gets killed on the battlefield, he will attain the heavenly planets, and if he happens to win in this battle, then he will enjoy the earthly kingdom which he is entitled to, and he is encouraged by Krishna to stop worrying about anything, get determined and get fighting. And he is told that he should not worry for the dualities of life, that is the happiness, the stress, the losing or the winning in the battle, or worrying about having some sinful reactions due to the battle. But he has to just get up and fight, because this is his duty as a Kshatriya. And Krishna tells him that so far, until verse 39, he has been describing him the Sankhya study or the analytical study. So now, from now on, from verse 39, Krishna will be describing Arjun that what is the meaning of working without the fruitive action? What is the meaning of performing your duties without worrying for the results of your actions? And Krishna is going to tell Arjun that this kind of duty, when a person is not worried for the actions of the results, makes a person free from the bondage of his karma, of his works, and truly liberates a person. And in verse, and then Krishna describes the Buddhi Yoga as well, that he has to use his intelligence, and through intelligence he will be guided towards from Karma Yoga to Buddhi Yoga, then from Buddhi Yoga to Bhakti Yoga. Then he can do his devotional practice nicely, and when he will be doing all his work, he will be dedicating it to the Supreme Lord himself, so which will not bind him to any kind of bondage in this material world. So Buddhi Yoga will help him to think that why he's doing why is he doing this duty for? So this is why intelligence is higher than the mind. So we should not just give in to our mind, we should think from our intelligence that why we have to do what we have to do. Now Arjun is fearful of sin, and Arjun is fearful of the reactions or the pap, like they say, or the impiousness he will gain by entering into the battlefield. But Krishna is reminding him again in verse 41 that if he will go ahead with the fight in the battlefield, nobody will give him any kind of sinful reaction at all. Those activities won't incur him any sinful reactions, and by doing his duty, actually he will only be advancing. And because he is doing this fight because Supreme Lord is asking him, reminding him to do his duty. So this fighting in the battlefield will actually advance him in his spiritual life as well. And the ones who will get killed, even they will have better, superior births in their next life as well. So giving up your occupational duties or your work is actually not advisable at all. All the religions, they say that we should do what we are supposed to do for living, because we have to do something or other. We cannot sit even for 1 second without the karma. So in verse 41, he is told that he has to think like his intelligence should be thinking like a business intelligence, because this is because it has also got a spiritual potential. Carrying on in his fight is also going to advance him in the spirituality, and to qualify for this kind of advancement, he needs to have some better quality as a big as a important kshatriya. And this is also a lesson for us as well, that we have to do everything we are doing, but we have to offer all our work to the Supreme Lord and not be bound with the results. We should have our goal in our eyes, our sight, but no, Krishna is not saying to us that just go on doing something every day and don't have any kind of goal. We should have a goal in our sight, but we should not be too much entangled with the results. the results, we should be offering it to Lord, so that we don't get entangled with the results. And if we get entangled, that means we'll be coming again and again into this world, and we'll be bound in this cycle of birth and death. So with one pointed determination, Arjun is asked to go ahead and fight in the battlefield. And exactly this is the this is what Krishna is telling us as well through Arjun, that whatever we have to do, we should be doing it with one pointedness. And slowly we should be aiming that from Karma Yoga to Buddhi Yoga, we should be going towards the Bhakti Yoga. Then our lives will be complete, and we will be very happy and satisfied in this life. We shouldn't be having too many desires. Having too many desires and doing some work with too many desires is not going to fulfill the aim of our soul. End of the day, aim of our soul is to please Lord with our work, with our day-to-day life, with our bhakti. So with this kind of faith, we should carry on living. And all the previous acharyas, they also have told us that if we are able to satisfy the Supreme Lord, then everything else gets satisfied. There is no need to satisfy anybody else. If we water the roots of a tree or of a plant, the analogy is given towards Krishna. If we offer everything to Krishna, then all the Devi Devtas and all the gurus, they get the result. So we offer first to Krishna, and from Krishna we pick up that offering or that bhoga, and we offer it to the other Devi Devtas, pictures of the murtis we have in the house, and other gurus, because they are very happy to have the prasad which has been offered to Krishna, the bhoga which is offered, which becomes prasad. This is what they look for, and this is only possible for us as human beings. So we'll continue from verse 42 tomorrow, and I wish you all a very happy day ahead. Hare Krishna.